The wait is over and the Iron Rig DLC is here. Black Salt Games, the team of 4 developers behind Dredge, has released an official expansion to the game. I will be breaking down everything you need to know about the mysterious Ironhaven Corporation in the game. My name is Shredded Cheese, and I'm a streamer on Twitch and a YouTuber who focuses on all things indie games, including reviews of new releases. I will be breaking down the new DLC for Dredge, including the new locations, tools, and fish, so bundle up and let's jump right in. The Iron Rig is the newest update and DLC added to Dredge that is taking the community by storm. This DLC was originally announced in the roadmap that I have been following and has finally arrived. The Iron Rig might have been built as fast as the Phantom Shark, but that does not mean this new location and its questlines feel rushed. This official paid expansion introduces a slew of new locations, items, and fish all over the map. If you have the DLC installed, it will appear as a huge deep sea oil rig to the north, with no real guide to what is there, enticing the player to bravely head north and see what the lights and location are about. As you approach the Iron Rig, a huge deep sea oil rig looms into view and towers up into the sky. You will be able to find a spot to dock up at the base of the structure. Be prepared to have to go on an expedition all across the map, potentially revisiting areas you have already been to. To catch most of the fish in this DLC, you'll need 1 or 2 of the new boat, rod, or net upgrades introduced as part of the new content. If you want a quick bit of advice, you'll need to pick up the Ironhaven crates and collect research parts the whole time if you want to be able to avoid having to grind out resource collection at the end. The main quest line of the Iron Rig is to aid the Ironhaven Corporation's new rig getting up and operational. You will be searching for, interacting with, and reading small bits and pieces of the narrative, all while avoiding the new hazards, which I will cover more in depth later in this video. In order to be able to catch all the fish needed, you will need to visit all 5 major regions on the map with newly upgraded equipment. These upgrades will allow you to catch, clean, and run away from more than a dozen different new additions to the game. The main quest line can be completed in about 2.5 hours, and the side quests can be finished in another hour and a half or so if you do them all separately. With better planning than I had, you can likely beat the full DLC in about 2 hours. There is no main reward for beating the quest line, but instead you will get access to a multitude of different items I will cover towards the end of the video, where I include some spoilers for the Iron Rig. The Iron Rig introduces a few new enemies to the game. The first one you will encounter is the black oil-looking substance that will slow your boat down considerably. As you play through the DLC, you will find new locations this aberrant oil spreads to across the map. The black gunk is not just a speed bump, but also has a bit of a life of its own. You will quickly find little blobs that pop out of the water and chase you down, similar to the way the Unseeing Mother's children will follow you when you get too close. Unlike the children, however, the oil does not progressively slow you down, but they will instead jump into your ship and fill up your cargo hold and have a chance of infecting any fish if that square is the one they land on. As the story progresses, the little blobs will get bigger and more aggressive, including being able to move a bit faster. To better avoid spoilers, I won't keep rambling about this new enemy, and you'll have to check it out for yourself. The challenge of the Iron Rig DLC is higher than I was honestly expecting. This is not because of the enemies being strong, but instead it's about how fast panic can build regardless of the time of day. Now take this with a grain of salt, because part of this is likely because I was using Haste, Manifest, and the end reward from the Pale Reach DLC nearly constantly as I played through the new story. I would personally recommend doing the Iron Rig in line with your main storyline playthrough, as the difficulty is not insanely difficult in the beginning, and you progress through the map in the same order. As the DLC progresses, the challenge will ramp up, so being able to get to the late stage ship upgrades and rods will be needed, just like the main story. Truthfully, you could be a madman and complete this DLC first, but it will take a lot of grinding and white knuckles at times. Then again, I'm no stranger to making poor decisions, so let me know if you want to see me attempt to beat the Iron Rig as my main questline in the game. I can tell you this region is able to be beaten in reverse, as the gameplay is not directionally dependent like the Pale Reach. It is also possible to not go to the Traveling Merchant during this questline, so my previous challenge runs are theoretically possible with this DLC. Seeing this DLC is not free like some of the previous updates, the question is raised: is the Iron Rig DLC worth $12? The short answer is yes, but I'll dive into everything that makes this DLC worth the money. First and foremost, this DLC expands the overall playtime of the game by up to 5 hours and further builds the intensity of the game by a country mile. This DLC is non-disruptive to the main story, but intertwines with it beautifully. The added mystery to the world is expanded without feeling forcefully added in. The DLC's mini regions throughout the map were also not forced in, but instead they feel like they naturally would have been there. The attention to detail throughout the Iron Rig DLC DLC is masterfully crafted. The addition of the oil slicks that slow you down and are almost intentionally inconveniently placed complicates the world and can lead to some intense moments between you and the already existing enemies in the area. The ambient sounds of the Iron Rig fit beautifully and raised the hair on my arms every time I heard it during my playthrough, often causing me to stop and look behind my boat to see if I was being followed. I was hoping for a unique color or flag to use for boat customization, but the rewards for even completing the early quests alone were more than worth it for players who are in the middle of their first playthrough. From this point on in the video, I'm going to be covering some spoilers and tips and tricks to be able to best complete the Iron Rig DLC, so if you do not want the mystery and rewards spoiled, I recommend subscribing and coming back once you've played through. My first bit of advice is to start the Iron Rig early, as you will be able to complete the DLC alongside the main quest line. You can find the Ironhaven's rig straight north from the Morrows. I will advise that once you start this quest line, it will change and modify the map permanently, so if you would rather wait to complete a region before the corporation gets involved, feel free to do so. You do not need to worry about how long this quest takes, as there are no timed quests associated with the Iron Rig DLC. Next, many of the new fish need upgraded rods in order to catch, so make sure you are saving up research parts and other resources from the start. Once you have the upgraded rods, you will be able to catch new fish as well as the ones that were part of the original version. I would recommend upgrading everything, as even if you do not plan to fish for some of the new creatures, there is a speed bonus associated with many of the upgrades. When hunting for the Ironhaven's crates, the main locations are all marked on your map, but other locations exist as well, so keep your eyes sharp and head on a swivel. You will have to venture far and wide from safe docking locations to be able to find the locations with multiple crates. If you do take all the crates from one area, don't worry. Like other materials, they will return over time and can be dredged up again. If you accidentally start the Iron Rig storyline early in the game and are not able to outrun or defend yourself with Banish, you should make sure to not continue the questline until you better build out your ship. Luckily, the Iron Rig DLC only progresses when you complete the associated tasks and not with the main storyline of the game. If you accidentally get ahead of what you and your boat are capable of, just avoid the oil rig and work on the main story and boat upgrades until you're confident to continue. The upgrades added from completing the quest to this DLC are rods that can catch more fish, trawl nets that can clean up the gunk or catch more aberrant fish, devices that increase your reverse speed, turning speed, haste cooldown, new baits, a 5th tier haul, and even more. I could go item by item, fish by fish, and cover everything, but that would make this video an hour long or even more. At the end of it all, just about every aspect of this game got a top of the line upgrade to make even the experienced sailor feel like their boat is completely different from the previously maxed out version. My final bit of advice is, if you are not used to switching what ability you have active quickly, start getting used to being able to flick the select wheel. I often found myself having to drop a crab pot, use Banish, activate my troll net, and then use haste to quickly get out of the area before anything else could come after me. Not to mention using the photo mode occasionally in the middle of action, just so I can make sure I could get a great thumbnail. Perhaps this was on me for letting my panic meter sit maxed out for almost the entire playthrough, but hey, I like a challenge. That is everything you need to know about the Iron Rig DLC Black Salt Games has released. Feel free to let me know in the comments what new fish is your favorite. Don't forget to subscribe for if any new Dredge content is announced, and feel free to check out this video to see all of my predictions and try counting how many times I guessed correctly. I will see you all next time.